Got a little song called If You Want to Get to Heaven, Gotta Raise a Little Hell. Come on, see us, will you?
Hey, Color Me Dad is a podcast. The three of us have been friends forever, so we laugh about a lot of stuff and rip on each other. See, when life gives Josh lemons, he makes a podcast about it. In this one, he tells us all about his super tough week. You all probably laugh. That's what we did. We hope you enjoy our episode entitled Up, Up, Down, Down, Left, Right, BA Start. Put the mic in front of your face. You scoot it over. Just like that. There you go. There you go.
Act like you're making out with it.
Really make out with it. Whatever.
It's that kind of party.
Thank you.
It's that kind of party.
It's that kind of party. Lenore.
That's right.
Lenore.
Lenore. I'm Lenore. Did you watch that thing I sent you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, the person went through kind of their idea about. I didn't love it.
That's an old snooty over there.
I like my
That's
ideas.
fine. That's cute.
Yeah, it was a good try. That random girl on YouTube. She took time to put it out there, and I applaud her for that.
Your reviews are trash.
Nice try, kid. So we took a break for the first time since we started this,
We did.
and I had a couple weeks. Man, it has not been great.
It's not been a good thing for you. Tell us about it. What happened?
I try. You know what? But here's the thing. This is what I want to talk about before I even get into it, because some of these stories.
Tell us about it right into the mic.
I invite you to come over here and take a look at. I don't know what you want from me.
Right here. So let's. Okay. That will work.
Like, this is literally what I'm doing.
But it was like way over here. Okay. We got it now. We got it. We're back. We're back. And I hope this audio is not distorted. But if it is, bear with us. You know, I've only been doing audio for 28 years, so I'm learning. Not like that girl on YouTube talking about King of the Hill.
That was TikTok, by the way.
Oh, whatever. I was watching the YouTubes. They were TikToking on the YouTubes.
Go ahead with your disastrous car story.
No, it's not just the car, like, at all. It's just been everything for, like, going on 2 weeks now. And the thing about it is, I just really get bummed out and feel bad about myself. Like, even kind of, I can tell you that everything sucks, but everything could be so much worse. But at the same time, I'm really been struggling with it. Like, I try to keep that kind of mindset, but sometimes it gets hard. Does that make any sense to you?
Totally.
Whatsoever? Like, every morning on the way to work, 5 o'clock in the morning, my routine is no radio and, like, praying, talking to God every morning, and just kind of ain't nothing between me and the good Lord but the road. You know what I'm saying? And I make a conscious effort to be like, just the fact that I'm up and have a job, as much as I hate getting up at 5, I was able to.
Trying to keep
as much as I hate to go to work, I've got a job to go to.
Attitude of gratitude.
And I try so hard, but man, after like 2 weeks of this, it's just like
Kind of feels like a grind.
it just gets to be a much, and it just makes me feel ungrateful. And maybe I am.
I don't think having an emotional reaction to problems means that you're ungrateful.
It would be one thing if it would be all right if it was just a problem. It's a total it's a total when it rains it pours
Sure.
type situation. But yet again, we've also have it, you know, it's rained good as well.
Character building, son.
It's raining men.
And that's what you're truly grateful for.
Yes, yes. But no, the first deal, the main reason we weren't here last week was the whole thing with Dad.
Yeah.
That was, which I did want to talk about as soon as it happened, because one of the first things I thought of when this was going down was, we had just talked on the show about how my dad is Superman. My dad is the reason I don't meet the standard definition of a man, because he's, he just, can't be hurt. And when it is right there in front of your face, man, for the first time, and it's like, oh, we're this age now, and this situation in 2 minutes could mean this.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
You're at the age where your parents start to need you to come around and help out and stuff like that, and they get sick, and
then immediately takes you to thinking about your kids and like, oh man, like I've got to
make them able to help you when you're old, because
no, not necessarily that. It's just like dad's entire left leg basically was one big blood clot. From right under the belly to the ankle. Got there, he was in the emergency room waiting on a room for over 24 hours. Wow. And when he got there, nothing had reached the lung yet. And basically the whole leg is one blood clot from right underneath the belly all the way to the ankle. And when we got there, like nothing had reached the lungs yet or anything like that. And middle of the first night, like before he even had a room, it had. Like it started to... It was weird. It was very...
you feel powerless.
Very, very. And I think the worst part about it was being able to sit there and tell that he was scared. Mm-hmm. For the first time I've ever seen that. Because it's kind of like one of those, if he's scared, then
we're in trouble.
Right.
You see, your parents are human and mortal.
Yeah.
I went through that with my mom in 2018. She had a heart attack and had to have like quadruple bypass surgery. Scary to watch parents go through that.
And that the not knowing, like...
You have no control over the situation.
And then inevitably you're like, well, what am I going to do if? Mm-hmm. What's that going to be like? How am I going to react? I wish, I would have spent more time. I wish the kids were able to spend more time. I wish it's just... tons of regret, and it hadn't even happened yet. It's a real heavy episode already.
Well, it gives you,
a
little bit of insight, and you're able to maybe check some of those boxes.
Just like a New Year's resolution, you're like, you know what? God save my dad. We're going to turn this around. And 2 days later, I just don't have time to get over there today.
I'll text you.
Gosh,
what's a text?
We're just I feel like I can be a selfish person sometimes, as much as I like to think that I'm not. I really am.
I mean, I think anybody can find examples in themselves where they're selfish.
Oh, I know. I don't think I'm awful or anything like that. I'm just saying it's really just like I said, when everything's put,
terrible.
When you're just been taking stock. I've been taking stock lately for the past 2 weeks and just kind of, I'm saying, I know this sounds really weird and just bleak, but what I'm trying to get at is it's funny how we can see this is right in front of me. I need to start doing this, and knowing it right in front of your face, just us as human beings, we're just already knowing it right in front of our face. We're just so quick to go ahead and start steering away from it again.
We are creatures of habit.
Yeah, yes. I think there's humanity. It's just baked into humanity, and there's some proverbial stuff in what you're saying. That I don't know if you're smart enough to or wise enough at a young age to listen to older people and what they say. You know what I mean? I think they say those kinds of things because they've lived through it. Right?
Sure.
I remember spending a lot of time with my grandparents before. My grandfather died in 2005, and then my grandmother died like last year. I remember when they were both alive, and they were like, I had trouble as a young guy, like figuring out exactly what I was going to do and all those things. And they just laughed at it. They were like, oh, before you know it, you have to decide between 3 or 4 things, right? And I'm like, what are you talking? What planet are you from? And they were totally right. They just had this experience that you can't, put any.
That's the cool thing about life is, by the time you gain the experience you need to live a life, you're too old to live it.
It's that whole youth is wasted on the young.
It really is true.
Because, we could probably put together a pretty cool punk album now, but who would care? Nobody would care. It took 25 years to the point where we could probably put something pretty cool together. That's the rarity of a bunch of young guys, and it's good.
And you're
right?
too tired to do it.
You're like, oh gosh, guys.
You can't do a punk record if you got to go to work.
I think you get a lunch break, so you just come home.
Right.
You do the whole thing in a lunch break.
Writing punk songs about your 401k. Give me my 401k.
I think that would be the saddest punk record ever made.
Nah, Machine Gun Kelly.
True that. Homie.
So all that was just what it was, and but, you know, thank God Dad's okay, gonna be okay right now,
Yeah.
and I need to spend more time and take advantage of that, and just, man, I don't know if you guys. It doesn't matter what's going on, just being in the hospital, because I was there as much as I could be. And, man, just being at the hospital, period.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
Unless you're having a baby.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I'll find that out.
I remember there was one point where this was the first night we were still in the emergency room, and no idea what was going on. And I was just kind of freaking out in my own head or whatever. And I had to go to the bathroom. Walking down the hall and trying to find the restroom, and there's a room there with the door open, and I just walk by and kind of, you know, as you do, I look inside the room, and there's this lady sitting at the foot of her bed, and her entire leg, like the entire leg, was the size of a tree trunk, about 4 or 5 different colors, and the foot was resting on a pile of like paper towels. And there was yeah. And so
We get it. It was gross.
It was the worst thing you ever saw.
I immediately came back to my dad's room. I was like, your leg's fine.
Get up and mow the grass.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I'm going to remember that.
That's the thing about the ER. You can walk around, you can make one pass, and you're going to find somebody that is crying or on the verge of death.
I love it when people say the ER. My wife says the ER.
Well, that's what it is.
I know, and I understand that it's not technically wrong, but it's just funny to me.
I don't understand.
Now, the ER, you're going to the ER.
Like
Yeah.
the Walmarts.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
somebody saying
Plural.
I relate. I know that it's not the same thing, but I hear it the same way.
My mom always says, we're going to go get in the bed. Not going to bed. We're going to get in the bed.
My great grandmother always referred to every refrigerator as a Frigidaire. And I'm not
that's
sure.
like on
I'm
the
not
TiVo,
sure.
on the
I'm not
TikTok.
sure if that was in reference to the brand or it was slang for the refrigerator over there.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's probably
I'm not
both.
sure. Check both boxes on that.
I always thought it was weird how British people would not have the word "the" in front of hospital.
Well, and university.
Yeah, I'm going to university.
They don't go to college. They go to university.
Or I'm going to hospital, not the hospital.
Some people say, "I'm going to the grocery."
I've never heard that one.
You guys don't get out a lot.
No, we don't.
Check your TikTok.
They don't say that on TikTok.
Check your
Yeah,
TikTok or your Bing Bong or your Boom Boom.
And Andy tells me what they say on TikTok, so I know.
we know that Andy knows what they say on TikTok.
It really is the most fantastic time waster.
Have you heard any new gems,
No.
or is there anything that we need to know?
Should I still be popping my booty? Are people still dropping mics out there? I'm just trying to figure out what to do tomorrow.
I mean,
I'm trying to find some Quaaludes. If there are any available on TikTok.
I don't think that is something that exists on TikTok.
Well, I'll make a Vine about it.
Maybe the dark TikTok.
I think that place is called Reddit.
The hospital, that whole deal, that was the beginning of the week. Then me and the wife have been car shopping since January, her second vehicle. She finally found a car she loved. It was in Columbus, Ohio. So we had to trek up there, get it. Left work early. We get there and we test drove the car twice. Drove it home after we purchased it. 2.5 hours. Not an issue. Like, it was great.
I can tell where this is going.
We get home and she's super excited and wants to show her parents. He's like, come on out. You guys come and see my car. You guys come and see my car. Yeah. Straight up.
Seriously, it didn't start?
It wouldn't turn over. So, and this is dark as the sun. So she's already really upset. So this whole thing with the car, I've really just been mostly upset because she's so upset, honestly. Yeah. It's really, because it was kind of a big deal to her, man, and she was stoked. And it made me feel good to get her for her. Like, it really did. Because, I haven't been a man for very long.
It almost led you to buying a Hummer.
A Hummer? That'd be the worst purchase ever right now. $5 a gallon gas.
I'm just trying to picture you or her driving in Ashland.
Picture me rolling, son. Yeah, so the car wouldn't turn over, and we immediately were kind of like, well, this is just... Well, this is a battery issue, hopefully, and we will deal with this tomorrow in the daylight. So now you, my friend, which I never would have guessed...
No.
I was actually just talking to you to vent, and was like, this just happened, and, well, I'll take a look at it. And I was like, yeah, you will. And you can take over for a minute because you came over and took a ganders at it.
So I'm texting you and asking you basic questions like, does it crank? Does it click?
I'm like, it's black.
There's an engine in there, I think.
It's a black car.
It's black. I think there are 4 tires. They're new.
I have zero troubleshooting skills. It either starts or it does not start.
Yeah.
And
it's there. It's out there. It's out there.
So one thing
it's in my driveway.
Is it still in your driveway?
Yeah.
Is it still not starting?
No, it's starting.
No, I'm just
This leads to an even funnier story. So I drive to your house. I stop and get like a battery terminal cleaner, and I bring my tool set, and we pop the hood, and I go to take the battery terminals off, and I start to unbolt the thing, and it disintegrates into my hand. I was like, well, son, this is your problem. And then I can't even, like, as I go to take the other one off, like, the bolt is so rusted and corroded, I can't turn it off. And so the wires just come loose from the battery terminal. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. Because at that point, I don't feel comfortable cutting wires on your car.
We're jumping ahead a little bit, too, because I also want to bring up, while we're there, before we buy the car, the salesman gives me paperwork of all the work and the inspection that have been done to the car. Here's a list of everything we've done to this car. We've put $1,500 into it. We've done this, and that. Here's a list of everything that we did.
Except started.
So, no, check this out. So, here's the thing. So, I'm looking over the list, and one of the things on the list says, change windshield wipers. So, of course, that's nothing. It means nothing. But, however, I'm reading that, and I look, and the wipers are about to fall off. Like, they're hanging there. So, I'm like, well, it says here you did this, and these are terrible. And he's like... And he like kind of blew it off like, I'll take $100 off. Okay, but that also tells me this is toilet paper.
You are right on the money, and that brings us to Van Halen, 1979, and the brown M&Ms.
The brown M&Ms?
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, in Van Halen lore, the original rider, or probably I guess version 2 of their rider, had a large bowl of M&Ms with all the brown M&Ms removed. And so they could walk into a gig, and if they found A, no M&Ms, or B, M&Ms without the brown, they would know, okay, they haven't looked at anything, they haven't paid attention to anything.
So it was like a test.
Yeah, and people thought it was like being prima donna, but
right.
in actuality, they were like, okay, if they didn't do this, then they probably didn't give us all these really important things. So
I get that, and that's, kind of smart, but however, also I'm sure there are many human beings that were just like, screw these guys. I'll get them the water and some sandwiches, but they can deal with the brown M&Ms. So, however, if it's a little bit more serious when we're talking about a vehicle that I'm going to be paying for years. So, that paperwork's a little bit more important to me than the Van Halen rider.
I think it's all very important. Have you ever heard Eruption?
So, that's true. So, yeah, I'm telling them that. And then, what was it? There was something else having to do with... also, when, Andy over here is looking at the car, we see that, I'm like, the first thing, if there was an inspection...
would be a battery.
Nobody checked out the battery because of these things, like... Well, you guys at home can't see, but just so we can get a reaction out of Wes here, I have pictures.
They were disgusting.
me see.
It's a picture of what we're dealing with there.
Make it flip. Holy. Yeah, okay. Wow.
It had a cover over it. There was a cover over the battery.
Hiding that problem.
Right.
This is the one that the bolts would not even turn.
Send me that.
So anyway, first things first is like, okay, well, we've got to, get the terminals switched out,
Now,
obviously.
is this a Ford?
No, it's a Jeep.
Oh, a Jeep.
Jeep Patriot.
Okay. I was going to make a fix it again, Tony joke.
You're talking about a Fiat now.
Fix it again, Tony.
So we're like, okay, well, obviously, we don't have good connection here to the battery, so we'll fix the battery terminal. So father-in-law comes over the next day, fixes the battery terminals. Driving like a champ. She's like, will you take it down the road, yada, yada? Sure. And I'm actually driving down the road, and in my mind, I'm actually thinking, oh, well, good. That's all that was, and this car has a lot of power. Like, this feels really good. All of a sudden, I lose all gas power. Like, I'm going 40 miles an hour down Route 60, and just my gas pedal
Like
stops
you hit the
working.
gas and nothing happens.
Correct.
So the fuel pump.
Yeah.
So I put it in neutral. I'm freaking out. There's cars coming behind me. I put it in neutral and had to jump out and push it out of the road. Wow. Which, of course, inevitably, like my father-in-law and everyone's like, now, when it stopped, did this happen? I have no idea. I don't know. I thought, get it out of the road.
You had to push it out of the road.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I did that. And then as I get it out of the road, I'm a little upset, obviously. So I go to call my father-in-law. He's at my house at the time to come over and scoop me up or whatever. By that time, I realize, well, my lights are on and everything. It couldn't be the battery. Turn it over, it just starts right back up and starts working like normal.
That's definitely a fuel pump.
Yeah, so the fuel pump wasn't getting power to work.
Well, they can randomly. When I was driving a cab, I had one that just died on me as I was driving down the road, and that car never started again. But it could also be power too. I mean, tell them about the gobbledygook that she had to do to get the car started the other day.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even there. I mean, we still have. So
You didn't take his car back?
no, this is in Columbus,
I don't
and
think it
I
would
have
get
now.
back
Look,
there.
I have a 3-year warranty with the car that covers almost everything. However, as far as returning it, you either got 3 days or 100 miles. I had to take it over 100 miles just to get it home.
Yeah, you're sunk.
So at this point, I have to use my warranty. I like to get whatever fixed. So after that, we take it to a garage, and we're like, "This is what's going on. This car obviously has not been inspected."
And the garage is literally behind his house.
Yeah, it's like you can see the garage from my house.
We looked it up on Google to try to find some place to take it. And I was like, well, this guy has pretty good reviews. And then I go to leave, and I'm like, I think that's it. It's like you could throw a rock from where he lives and hit this garage.
You couldn't.
No, I couldn't. I throw like a garage.
So take it over there and tell him what's going on. Like, look, this car has not been. Oh, and I'm of course calling this dealership and be like, this is what's going on. This car has not been inspected. Like, you guys, look, I'm a man of my word. No, you're not. You guys said this car was inspected. You said you've done this, and that. You didn't. So you guys are going to pay for this. Well, I'm not just going to give you an open checkbook. You are. Like, I'm not saying, like, look, I was like, the car needs an alignment. It's pulling to the right. I don't expect you to pay for that. You lied about changing the wiper blades, whatever. I did that, of course, cost me $40. I don't care about that. But this car is going to be drivable.
But I'm drawing the line on the battery.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just I'm just so angry about this whole thing. So anyway, we take it to be looked at the mechanic. Like, we need a full inspection on it. We to find out what's going on, and I need an alignment. It's sat there all week, and we're supposed to pick it up. Every day I go over there, it's like I just haven't had. He's every time I go there, he's been looking at the same car.
Wow.
Every time, smoking a cigar under the hood of the car right beside my car. I just didn't get to it today.
Did you get to anything today?
So finally,
That's my third
They call
cigar.
They call me Saturday. I'm right as I'm getting ready to pass there. I'm almost home, and he calls and he's like, "So here's what's going on. I still haven't done the inspection, and I still haven't done the alignment. However, I changed out your battery, and I drove it around. This car's fine. So I think it was just a battery issue. We're fine here, but take it, drive it this weekend around town. See if anything's squirrely with it. And if not, bring it back Tuesday morning. We'll give you the inspection, and I'll do the alignment Tuesday." So we pick it up. she's driving it around town, loves it. It's fine. We think we're, out of the woods. It's okay. This is not going to be that big a deal. Last night, goes out to Walmart, calls me, car won't start, won't turn over. She's like, you're going to have to come and jump me. I'm like, no, it's a brand new, it's a 2-day-old battery. It doesn't.
So the alternator was bad, and the battery's been driving it around.
I haven't taken it in yet, but so this is more ridiculous. So she's like, I'm just going to sit here and give it some time and see if it turns over. She looks online at a forum. Apparently, there's a bunch of these forums of these people that have had the same car that have these weird, all the stuff that's happened to this car. She's found it all on these forums. Like, I did this and got this and everything was fine. Blah blah blah. She looks and finds one on this forum. It's like, the same thing happened to my car. I opened the door, shut it again, pumped the brake 3 times, and then turned it over, and everything was good. She did that, and hand to God, the thing started. And then she's driving home. She's bringing it home, and when she turns her right blinker on, the dome light inside the car gets like turns on by itself and gets super bright. They get home. My kid, she's with Lane, my 13-year-old. He goes, the car's haunted. Ghost car. So we have to take it back to the mechanic and try to explain what's going on.
This 3 brake pump deal.
Dude.
So you literally are not through this yet. This is where you've left off.
I'm hanging on by a thread.
I was going to make a joke. It's not a very good one. You're on a subreddit, basically. You're going to live on a subreddit for Jeeps and problems, right?
Well, we got there, and we got there, and the guy knew we were coming from out of town, too, and he even called a couple times, like, are you close? You close? We're 30 minutes out.
You mean when you went to buy it?
Yeah, and we get there, and go ahead and give her a test ride. It's running. It's ready. I turned it on to get the heat going for you.
Yeah, because he didn't want you to.
And Kristen is straight up like, it was so nice of him.
Oh, man.
Bastard.
Yeah.
So you know that he knew it was not going to start predictable or consistently.
Who's to say? I'm just saying.
I'll say it.
But
what is this place in Columbus? We got to tell everybody.
But
we're bound to have 24 listeners.
But we did test drive it twice.
Okay. Did you start it?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, yeah, probably once it's
and
on and
she
running.
drove it. No, what I'm saying, it was off and on 2 different times. We test drove it 2 different times before we bought it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like once it's
and she drove it all the way home, no issues.
I do remember her saying that she thought the alignment thing was just the wind blowing. She was like, it was pulling really hard to the right, and I thought that the wind was just kind of trying to take the car over, which, in a big boxy Jeep.
Both cars we've had before, SUV types, and it's nightmare in the wind. So
is this all-wheel drive?
This is 4-wheel drive.
4-wheel drive. Okay. Yeah, it's a different kind of animal too with alignment with 4-wheel drive and stuff.
It's a nice looking car.
That's good because that's all you got. You can sit it there and you can look at it.
That's where that $1,500 went.
The driving part, not so much, but
$14.99 went to them shiny tires.
Honey, take all the pictures of that thing you want.
Make sure everybody knows how good that car looks.
Right.
So I'd make.
And like I said, it's really super stressed out about it. I don't handle, financial burden very well. It's a big. I'm not good at that. Like I get really freaked out real easy. But man, it's mostly just. I'm really upset for her. She was super stoked on it. It was, it was her car. She's never had her car, just her car. And I was, stoked to be able to make that happen for her. And then, bang.
So, if you had to do over again, would you get something different?
What do you mean? One that works?
I'm just saying. Would you go about it any different?
There was there's no way of knowing. Like I said. Test drove it twice. I'm not going to get there. What am I going to do? What am I going to inspect it? There's a car.
How come you've ordered a Gretsch guitar and it obviously you can't play it? You order it. It's coming in the mail, right? And you bought it. Why?
I've played many Gretsches.
Ding, bingo, ding, ding, ding. Yep. So this is my plug for Japanese cars.
My family have driven Jeeps. This same car.
Oh, they like Jeeps.
Sure.
So you're like a Jeep family.
My sister has driven a Jeep Patriot for many years.
So I bought my first Japanese car when I was 20 off a doctor's kid. right? It was, you remember it.
I would definitely remember
the
this car.
two-tone 85 Camry is what it was.
It was no Crown Vic, though.
No, it wasn't. But Crown Vic's a different story. But ever since I got that car, I've had a
You've
Corolla,
never not owned a Toyota since then, have you?
No, and I drive a Honda for work, and I'm kind of sold on the Pilot in terms of like it going and never stop going, that kind of thing. But Japanese cars, I don't know. And I've had them all. I had remember the one that told us the door is ajar and all that?
Oh, yeah.
That was a Chrysler. I had a Tempo. I've had them all.
Do you ever have a piston Honda?
Piston Honda? No, we had a Honda hatchback of some kind.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That little slide look. Piston Honda's the third guy you got to fight in Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Oh, sorry, dude. I never played Punch Out.
Yeah, and the little girl, the little girl on YouTube is an idiot.
I was playing Contra while you guys were.
Yeah. What's the code? What's the code there, bruh?
To get to
Contra,
open up?
Contra code 99 lives. You know the code. Everybody knows.
I'm sorry, man. It's been a long time. I mean, I played the crap out of Contra and
Go ahead, Andy.
probably won it without the code. Honestly,
I don't know it exactly, but it's the up, down, left, left, right
down,
thing.
left, right.
DA select start.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Isn't it crazy the stuff that sticks in your mind? Like, this is the argument I have with my wife regularly, which is, how can you remember like a meme you saw 5 years ago, or a code from a video game 40 years ago, or anything like that, but I can't remember a conversation we had the week before. I just don't understand how that happens. Like, what makes things like stick in my mind? Like,
Were there certain phone numbers that you can remember
Absolutely.
from your childhood when you had to remember phone
I can
numbers?
remember room numbers from my mom and I going on vacation together.
I'll tell a story on myself from yesterday. This is
Okay.
how old I'm getting. We're looking at your nursery pictures online. This is before my wife goes to your baby shower yesterday. And looking at the pink, the good job you did on the pink and the trim and all that kind of stuff. And then as you scroll up, there's I don't know the context, there's just a picture of a bunch of records, like the end,
Yeah.
right? It's on your wife's Facebook page. So I go, oh, what records are there? And I zoom in and I read a few of them.
He's wheeling and dealing.
No, I just was
Look
interested.
and see if they have this.
There's-
And whilst you just ask her
No,
how much she would take.
I made a joke. When you get there, make sure she put this Born to Run on, right? It's a good record. And I looked down at the bottom, and I had posted a comment on that picture that said, that Born to Run. I had forgotten that I'd looked at those records and that I saw Born to Run. And I was like, Born to Run. So I'd do that in the middle of the night.
What's really
at a pee
funny
break.
is there's probably multiple pictures on the internet of the album Born to Run somewhere that he's commented on this album multiple times.
I just can't help it. Every single time I see Born to Run.
Born to Run. No, it was
Glad
more of
to
a.
see you all know what you're doing over there.
I know what you mean. It's like,
That's what she had that I liked in that stack.
it feels like an original thought.
And it's not an original thought because I'm so old. I'm just having the same original thought over and over and over.
I was at
You know what's great, guys? Contra. You ever played that?
I was at the old Ando's house today, dropping off baby whatnots, and I did not know his wife plays the piano.
Yeah, they got a piano.
The pianer is
Piano.
how they call it.
It depends on how you play it. It's like a fiddle and a violin.
She's good. You said she's good.
She is very good. She knows more about piano, like technically, than I knew about guitar.
Wow.
Well, so she can turn it on.
She's very good. She can, yeah,
This guitar is on.
This piano is backfeeding.
yeah.
That used to enrage you so much.
It still kind of does.
You're
So,
a different guy now.
So, Andy was a guitar player for a rock and roll band, and used to, as you do in the, mid late '90s, early 2000s, you got, every once in a while when you're rocking, you got to get some cool feedback parts and get your guitar squealing, making some noise. And Andy would write and arrange parts to this. And right here, when we do this, I'm gonna get backfeed right here. Every time we would make fun and give him a hard time, and he would just get so mad and irritated. But he would never correct it. He'd just be like, "Shut up! You know what I'm talking
when
about."
I say backfeed, just know what I mean.
Just shut up. That's fine. That's right. It's the Andy rule.
That's definitely. That's just something I've always done. There was some kind of conversation that we had when we worked together that I said something backwards. Like, my brain just will transpose words, and you guys made so much fun of me.
At work?
Yes.
I don't remember that. Well, I'll jump in and put myself in the ring because, I mean, when I got into IT, I could not call it router. I would call it router or something else. I never called it router. It took me like 10 years.
My writing really do a lot of lists and stuff like that for work.
Your handwriting?
Yeah, like
It's horrible?
Well, no, that too. But like, I'll start a word, and let's say if I'm going to write the word list, I will write I. Like I'll start like I jump like I don't. It's weird, like a weird dyslexic. I don't know, but it just started like kind of 10 years ago, maybe something like that. Just like, and it's not like bad or like I can't do it. It's just if I'm just going.
You should probably.
If I'm going really fast or
use the
something like that,
computer.
not paying attention, I'll just immediately just go. Like I'll just start in the middle of a word while I'm writing.
I hope my parents don't listen to this podcast, but I was born left-handed, but Mom would take the pencil or whatever out of my left hand and put it in my right hand and say, no devil, no devil's going to have a hold of you. Put that in your right hand. And I can't read anything that
So
I write.
what was she thought that was bad?
I mean, there's a cultural thing that's like left-handed means the devil or something. I don't know.
Really?
That's actually common. My wife's left-handed, and her dad is left-handed, and his mother did the same thing to him.
Yeah. And so I can't write for anything now, and I can do all kinds of things left-handed. Like if I sit down to eat, everything's left-handed, and they never felt like that was an issue, I guess. But in writing, they're like, no scissors, no writing with the left hand, only with the right hand.
But
Wow.
I will say though that watching my wife do things left-handed almost
Your
looks,
wife's left-handed too?
yeah.
My wife is left-handed.
It almost looks like a disability. Like when she's cutting up things,
Oh, man.
I'm like, you're gonna cut.
What you
your
doing over
finger
there,
off.
poaching those eggs? Doing a real bang up job here, Lefty.
Like, how did you make it this far with left-handed? Like, she'll go to cut things up, and I swear, I can't watch it. It looks like she's gonna cut her finger off.
Let me do it for you there, Southpaw.
Yeah.
You're going to hurt yourself.
Go sit down.
Our wives are a lot alike.
It is
They are really
uncanny
alike.
how similar they are in personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably both very miserable.
I was thinking about your wife driving to my baby shower yesterday and how my wife would have reacted had she had to do the same
I
thing.
could tell you knew without any sort of comment. You're like, oh, she's driving here? Okay, I'm going to go out and help her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
My wife would have pre-planned the route days in advance. She would have wanted to know every single possible way she could have gotten there. Just driving there would have been way more stressful than the event itself.
So my wife's a pro at it now. We only looked at it for an hour and a half. I'm kidding.
My wife was going to come and drive her new car there.
And there it would have stayed.
And that's why I brought your baby shower stuff today.
She missed a fun time.
I've heard.
It was.
I've heard it was the.
It was actually a good time. I mean, it brings me to a question I wanted to discuss. Should men attend baby showers? I know what the unanimous answer is going to be.
In the
but
70s, no. Absolutely not. In the 90s, no. Now, probably best to hang around.
You're probably not far this day and age from having your own shower and getting your own push present. Do you know about push presents?
What's a push present?
I don't know what that is.
It's a notion that, and this makes sense. It's kind of like, so you guys had a shower, and everything is for the baby, as it should be.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, look, mom is working her butt off, and this is a gift just for you. Kristen, my wife, has actually told me she's working on a push present for
My mom kind of did
because
that.
like it's
but
like,
she
hey,
didn't-
it's kind of like, hey, you're in this too. Like,
Boss makes an orange feedbacker pedal. I'm going to cut the label and I'm going to switch the word so it says back feeder.
Back feeder.
Yeah. And
The
that'll be his
BF1.
present. That's what it does too. I used to have one.
so where were we at before? That was so random.
I was
Well, he was trying to find out if he should have stayed at his
should we go
baby
to-
shower.
I think
Now remember, you
think
haven't been a man very long.
I'm still working on it. I think that depends on the situation. I think like this whole, you guys had a small shower. Would you consider it a small shower?
I mean, it was big for us, but
right.
guess
But
can-
what I'm saying, like, I think it has to do with the amount of friends that you and the wife would share together. I think there are situations where it would be very weird, and I think there are probably situations where it would be weird if it wasn't.
I'll give you one.
Okay.
On our third child, which I have all 3 girls, we had a good distance between the first 2 and the third. We were at a church we'd been going to for, not a super long time, a couple of years. And for whatever reason, it was decided we're going to give you guys a shower, this new baby, right? So I did not go, and that was the way I wanted it. I guess the first one I didn't go, but kind of came and hang out at the last bit. This one I was like, nope, you can have this, and I'm going to go home, and I have some work to do. I actually we had this real bad issue at our first house with the heater. When it would get super cold, it would freeze. The thing that it was a gas heater, and so it takes the condensation and pumps it through this thing, and it would go out the side of the house, and it would freeze. So it couldn't pump, so it would turn the heater off.
Oh.
And that happened every year when it got down to about 10 degrees. So I had this idea, in your house you have a pipe basically that generally comes through the middle, and it's like an exhaust. It goes both ways, right? You can let things out, take things down, and
It goes both ways.
Exactly. So I went into the attic and drilled a hole into it so I could take that tubing that's going out the side of the house, pull it in, and put it through that tube, put some caulking around it, keep it in there, and so it would never freeze.
This is an example of what we were talking about earlier
With your pump?
with him.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Oh, nice. But anyway, while I was up,
It was a compliment.
It was a compliment.
nobody was out. Nobody was in the house, just me. I'm up there. I finish it. I'm happy, and I put my foot right through the ceiling above our bathroom.
Oh, wow.
I got a picture of it. You can see all the stuff that fell in the toilet when I put my foot.
Like completely through it?
Yeah, totally through it. Yeah, I had to replace the whole thing because I didn't go to the baby shower. And that was
Had you gone to the baby
Had
shower?
I gone to the baby shower, I mean, we would have
have
froze in the middle of the night next winter, but
You wouldn't have a hole in your bathroom.
yeah. So within took 3 or 4 days to get somebody to come help me and put a whole new ceiling.
Wow.
Here's what I propose.
Yeah.
I think what should happen is during the baby shower, almost like kind of like a new take on a bachelor party. Like during the baby shower, the guys get together and it's like, let's go do something that you're never going to get the chance to do. It's going to be years before you get the chance to do this again.
That's
Like-
actually what I was going to be
Like you
doing.
come over to my house and you pick what's on TV.
Yeah.
Because that's done.
That's gone.
You
You can only watch The Godfather till they're about 10 months
Right.
old.
You get to watch TV in silence.
yeah. Just a good dude hang because they're going to be few.
I
and
did have
far.
plans to do something
What
like
were you
that.
going to do?
Jesse actually was going to do this thing he called it a diaper party, but I guess it's just guys hanging out. And we never really set a hard date
I didn't get
for
invited
it.
to that. Did you get invited to that?
I didn't get invited to that, but that's okay.
I guess me and you should have had our own diaper party.
I had a princess tea party during his whole
Well-
thing with my wife was over at his house, and
I figured if
I
you
felt
got-
very manly with my.
My life was in shambles and I had nobody.
I figured if you guys were going to have your wives come to this thing, that you would have to watch your children. So
It's true.
My wife didn't have a way there. Sorry.
Well, you didn't know that prior to.
He calls me Friday and
He
he's
knew it.
like, I'm not letting her come. And I was like, what? What are you talking about?
taking that car by herself on the
Oh, I
interstate.
see.
But it was just the
Trust
way
me, I have no say so when it comes to. Trust me, it wasn't a situation where I was like, you know what, you're staying put.
You know where you're going
Let me
today?
tell you, she surely
No.
would have listened to that.
Yeah.
You ain't going nowhere.
Sit tight, honey.
And I forgot you had to work on Saturday, so I was like, well, why can't you take her? And then, but as I'm there, I'm like, well, I'm gonna just stay here long enough to greet people, and then I'm gonna go upstairs and start putting a crib together. It just never happened.
Never happened.
I just had to answer questions like, my wife bought shirts for everybody, like for herself, and then the grandmothers and the great grandmothers, and she was like, we could have done this together and you could have had one of these shirts. So I had to answer a bunch of questions of, where's your shirt? And
I came to this baby shower and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
no, it was like first time dad or something
Pink,
like that.
pink T-shirt.
But I mean,
Spring break 012.
012.
012, that's a good one.
It was fun though. I mean, I've never been to a baby shower, and while I'm there, I'm asking your wife. I'm like, so what's your opinion on this? She's like,
It should be right there.
yeah, and I was like, I bet Wes is probably going to agree with me. And she was like, yes. And then she told the story about how you. She didn't tell the rough story. She told the story about how you didn't go to one, but you went to the tail end of the other.
She didn't tell you about the foot going through the ceiling?
No.
Okay, I figured she'd tell that.
She knew better.
It's the only time I messed anything
You
up
don't tell
in my entire
anybody.
life.
You don't tell anybody about this. No, earlier what we were saying is we weren't sitting around having fun at your expense. We were talking about just how you just seem to kind of have a little bit of input or know-how on most things that we wouldn't.
A bunch of different things.
Like, I remember we were having a talk one day and I was complaining that I still don't have my back porch finished. It's going on 2 years now.
I haven't stopped thinking about it.
And you were like, I'll just come over there and do it. And just like Andy with the car, I'm like, yeah, you'll come over and do it. And
the truth
I'm
is,
sure now that you could.
I have thought about it as recent as yesterday. I was thinking, I wonder what Josh has done with that backyard situation, because
Nothing.
you have like a deck that we need to like just cut things at an angle, and I've got my brother always gives me good tools when he doesn't need them anymore, and so I have like a saw that you can change the angle and all that kind of stuff.
I think people like you can look at something and visualize what it's supposed to look like, and then and I was actually telling your wife about this yesterday. I was like, Wes has always just been able to handle any situation and know the steps to take to deal with it.
I disagree with that, but it comes out in the wash, I guess, is a better way I would.
How
I would
long
say it.
have all of us that have been hanging out with him, like any kind of issue or problem, our first thought is, what are you gonna do about it?
I was thinking about this. Was it yesterday? When I called you, I believe it was yesterday when I sent you a text about like, hey, can you grab my amp? I am seriously to the point in our friendship where I feel bad about asking you anything, because
Why?
I'm like,
Why?
because I feel like it's too frequent.
Oh, I see.
You're abusing the
I'm like,
privilege.
yeah, I'm just like, could you do this? Can you do that too? And
I've been leeching off of you for 25
Like, I'm
years.
just.
I would say I just sent you guys a picture of when the pandemic first hit. I had kind of a weird situation, and I had a couple projects that I ended up like going into pretty
I was telling
deep.
him about this.
And I actually built this thing in the backyard.
I've seen this before. This is much nicer than my porch.
Well, I built that.
Did you build the chairs too?
No, the chairs came from.
Did you make the flowers?
No, they've always been there. They come up every
those
Easter.
Are the Lord's.
Yeah, they are. But I actually thought about that for years. Like, we lived there probably, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years. And I kept thinking, I could build that.
By the way, we're looking at a picture of a very well constructed, nice
It's a playhouse.
clubhouse.
It's a clubhouse.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's a club.
I
Clubbish.
wouldn't know where to put the first piece of wood.
Well, I didn't really
Bend over
either.
and I'll show you.
That's the title of today's episode.
The first thing I think of looking at this picture, which is awesome, and I'm wondering if this has happened. The way it kind of sits up, I'm immediately imagining a situation of one kid on top, like throwing stuff to keep, like, no, you out.
It hasn't happened yet. My kids
It
are.
needs to.
They
They need to not play well together and be rude to each other.
They have their things that they do, but they don't like throw things at each other and scream and run or anything like that. They're just like, Dad.
If your kids, you mentioned before that your kids thought the podcast was a cool idea. If you guys are listening, Wes is getting off very easy with you guys, and
true.
you need to start wreaking havoc.
Yeah.
I was asking
Bring
your wife
it down.
yesterday which one of your kids is the most like you.
Oh man,
And
it's tough.
she was like, well, they kind of all are. But she was talking about your oldest is kind of
Yeah,
more becoming more like you.
it's a first. People study this. The first child, the second child.
16 going on 45.
Yeah, like the first child is the worrier. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And they take charge and all that kind of stuff. And she definitely does that. But I was the second kid. You know, that's what's weird about.
You're the baby in your family.
Yeah, I mean, I have a brother that's 5 years older, and I don't know. He always, you know, if somebody beat me up, like he was going after him. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like he took care of me, but I don't know. It's weird when I became an adult, and the oldest one is kind of doing stuff the way I did, I guess.
So if you guys go out to eat, is she like, I'm taking slices of cheese and...
They're all picky eaters in their own ways.
Every time we'd go to McDonald's or something, he would stop at his house and get...
I don't remember stopping at my house and getting cheese, but I do remember being a picky eater, even at 18.
You didn't dig the McDonald's cheese?
No.
He would take it to put cheese on his chicken because they would not give him enough. I definitely have memories of that.
I don't remember that, but I won't say I didn't do it. But
I remember one time you like taking ravioli.
Somewhere we were going?
Yeah.
So I had weird things. Like, I remember being 18. I was in Minneapolis, and I was starving, and they were having Chinese food. And I was like, oh, no, Chinese food. And the guys with me were like, you're going to like Chinese food. You just got to try it. No, I'm not going to like it. I'm 18 years old. You know, I'm technically an adult. And I ate, you know, some sweet and sour chicken, and I was like, oh, this is great.
Funny thing is, I don't know if you remember this. You introduced me to Chinese food.
Oh.
Because I felt the same way.
I'm cultured, Andy.
He came back off tour and he's like, I have seen the world.
You're just 18 now. Let me introduce you to the world.
We used to go China Buffet weekly.
We did.
Back in the day. The one over by the Kmart's.
I got to embarrassingly admit, like, I can't eat Chinese food anymore.
What? Why?
It just bloats the crap out of me.
Gallbladder. You got a gallbladder issue.
I don't know what it is.
You got to get that out of there.
He's afraid of getting it on those JCPenney shirts.
I've ruined so many pairs of cargo shorts at the Chinese place. I'm just not going anymore.
I just can't eat it. I can't do it. I mean,
Sorry, just caviar and escargot for me.
And make sure to bring me Bounty paper towels to put beside me. I only wipe with the best.
That's right. I'm not slumming it at Kroger anymore.
I remember at Camden.
there was no spills at that baby shower.
There were two actually,
and they
you were right on
taken
them.
care of immediately.
Bounty paper towels.
like a ninja.
Calm down, ladies.
I got Bounty.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Who remembers Camden Park? I talk about it like it's not there anymore.
I've got a story about Camden Park.
Well, I just said I only wipe with the best, and I remember being there in the 90s.
Camden Park, if you're not a West Virginia, Huntington, West Virginia person, it's a amusement park.
That was the place of dreams and miracles when we were children.
Kind of looks like every haunted amusement park from the Scooby-Doo episode.
It's true, and it's in a game now, right? It's in a game where they're like a zombie game.
It was in Fallout.
Fallout. Okay, yeah, they you can run through Camden Park, and there's real legitimate Indian burial mounds in there, by the way. But over by the Scrambler.
It was built on an Indian burial ground.
Yep.
Which is where the train goes, where they have the
actual Indians that shoot cap guns at you.
There are Indians shooting over there that are
whoa.
robotic.
I don't think we can talk about that anymore.
Well, they're still there, I think.
Camden Park is surely canceled.
I don't know.
Because you cannot have... Why do the Indians have guns?
It's very... Because...
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming. I haven't been on the train.
I think you guys might want to check your privilege real quick.
I have been there in the last 5 years. I have not ridden the train, I'll be honest. So the Indians might just be waving. Hello, we're here.
I went there last summer.
Yeah? With who?
The organization that I work for held an event there where they basically paid for us to go to the park. And it was
paid $10.
They really care about you guys.
It was.
We got a problem with insurance. We need to get rid of some of these people. What should we do? Put them on rides at Camden Park.
It was really sad.
They all want to do something, but I don't really. Just tell them we'll send them to Camden Park and they won't go. We tried. Sorry.
There was a lot of people there. It was really sad. Because you always have the memory of how good things were when you were a kid, and that place when I was a kid seemed ginormous, and it is really, really tiny, actually.
Well, what's funny is I remember you and I, when your mom got married, yes. How old were you? 16 or 17? So that would have made me 18 or 17. we went to Camden Park. We were like, somebody gave it, here's $20, go have fun. And we were like, we're going to Camden Park. And we were there 42 minutes and we were bored to death. We were like, that's it.
And what's even funnier about that is that you and I had stayed up the entire night trying to learn the wedding march song to play on guitar during my mom's wedding.
We didn't do it.
So we're sleep deprived.
And we go to Camden Park.
In July. And we're like, this is terrible. I remember going to your house and sleeping in your parents' bedroom with the air conditioner on like 50.
You guys probably left because somebody had to poop and nobody had a quarter.
There used to be paid toilets there. That's
There's
right.
no used to be. They are still there.
Are
you serious?
Yes.
I
You still
have
have to pay?
never, ever seen that anywhere else in my entire life.
You gotta get that money. I gotta go get that
Never.
money.
The original bathrooms that were there when you were there last are still there. Now, you don't have to actually pay money in them, but the things are still there. They're still attached to the
Oh, the little
doors.
things are still there.
Yeah.
Well, my point in bringing up Camden Park was I said
Nice,
I only
nice old man coming out and flip you a quarter. Have a poop on me.
it used to be a dime.
Here you go, kid.
That
Have a
used to be
blast.
dumb.
There was a guy there with a red shirt. You know the old red shirt with the big puffy like Dr. Pepper letters? You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? There was a guy at Camden Park in the 90s. He had a big rip in his shirt. It was a red shirt exactly like that. But instead of Dr. Pepper, in the white puffy letters, it said, I only sleep with the best. Big rip in it.
Oh, I'm so going to find that shirt on eBay tonight.
And put a rip in it. Got to rip it.
Oh, yeah. It's
That's how I got ripped.
I remember my memories, if I think back of Camden Park, I immediately first think of pay toilet. That you're paying for the most disgusting toilet ever. I think of that.
I've been kicked out of better toilets than this.
I always think about that that frog game with the lily pads circle
there.
around. You hit it
Still
with
there
the sledgehammer
today.
and knock the rubber frog into the lily pad.
I can tell you, it's still there today.
And also the frickin' hot cat.
The thing that just went around in a circle.
If
while
you
they played
guys
middle.
haven't been to Camden Park, if you're out there,
It's
and
not there anymore.
It's not there anymore.
I know, but here's
It
what
was
you missed.
glorious.
It's just probably about 6 two-person cars that went around in a circle, like kind of like little humps, just a circle. Nothing happened, and they just blasted 80s hair metal.
When you talk about Skid Row, I think of the hot cat.
Well, here's what was special about the Hot Cat, because you weren't just hearing the choice 80s hair metal. The guy that worked the ride,
Looked like
he had a
roadie.
broom. He had a broom. And he played air guitar the whole time. And he would also do stuff like you'd go around, like your car passes, and he would like put his foot on your car and like he's kicking you around.
Wow.
Like he's the one sending
He
it in the
was
motion.
performing the video to
whole
that
time.
song while you were on the ride.
They would play
And
ballads
this
too.
guy
It
was-
wasn't
this-
always just hard rock. It was always it could be like
Yeah.
Every
Yeah, that
rose
was
has
like
its
it was
thorn
like
or
it was like
something.
kind of like
Every
you
rose
could if you went to the Hot Cat at nighttime, it was kind of like
it was a concert.
well, it was also well, it was kind they did have a mirror ball in there, but it was kind of like you could be there with your girlfriend in 6th grade, and that was kind of a romantic.
I'm gonna try to.
You know,
Put my arm around
you know that story's out there. Like, where were you at the first time you kissed a girl, Dad? Well, son, let me tell you.
about Skid Row and
It
the
used to
hot
be
cat.
a whole lot easier to get your hands on some women back when there used to be something called a hot cat. You're not
And boy,
gonna
let me
have
tell you,
this-
you had to sit really close on that hot cat to fit in there.
Man, my first girlfriend, anytime Cinderella got blaring, she could not control herself.
Night songs. Don't know what you got till it's gone. I bet they played that on the hot cat.
We all need a little shelter.
It would make you sad to go back there today.
I get sad when I listen to Cinderella.
I'm surprised I haven't had to go to Camden Park this past couple weeks.
Don't.
Because that would have topped it off. Like,
You got to take your kids there. I mean, you'll get to take your little girl
your dad's
there,
in the
Andy.
hospital. The car don't work, and by the way, you got to take the kids to Camden
Camden
Park
Park.
this week.
I don't know.
And there's a drunk guy passed out on your porch.
Oh yeah.
Please tell us that story
Yeah,
about the
let's
drunk
go to
guy on
that.
your porch.
It could have only happened this week. First and foremost, we've got that kind of road that you see somebody out my road, they live there. Like, it's not a heavily traffic.
You're not just going to walk past it.
It's a very
somewhere else.
sleepy.
It's not on the way to anything.
Yeah.
It's a very sleepy, nothing to worry about sort of place. So, this was on Monday because it was trash night. We're taking out the trash. The wife's cleaning out the refrigerator, and me and Lane are going to take the trash up to the curb. So taking the trash out there, and there's 2 cars stopped in the middle of the road. There's an older guy in a white van pulled up right beside in the middle of the road. Just some little tiny blue car, probably had like a different colored hood or a door than the rest of the car. You know that car.
I gotcha.
And there's a screaming match going on, and I just hear the old guy say, "You hit her! I saw you hit her!" And the guy is yelling back, "I didn't hit her, man. She hit me. I've been getting hit since I was 5." And they're going at it hard.
I'd have been like, this is where my week's turning around.
Meanwhile, the chick in question, she gets out of the car and she starts walking down the road, eating hot Cheetos and crying. So someone definitely had a worse week than I did. And I know that she did not hit the guy because he did not have hot Cheeto fingers on his face at all. Because that's a dead giveaway. If she would have hit him, he would have been wearing the scarlet letter, like right across the face.
My keyword at work is got lots of Cheeto dust on it because I sit there and eat Cheetos for my lunch. So I believe you're correct.
And if you don't make a trip to the sink, that ain't coming off.
Cheetos is my trigger word.
Suck your finger all you want to.
It's going to make it worse.
Now they're just red.
Right.
Cheeto dust is going to get hard.
So they're just out there, just going out, I'm just like, I just don't even care. I'm just going in. So I go in and I'm telling the wife about it, whatever, and just she's being nosy, looking out the window. Just
I was going to say, I know that she was probably like, I want to watch.
Again, well, like I said, that was big news for our neighborhood. So there, Wes is watching my security footage from my front porch. We'll get to that in a moment. So I just kind of go back and forget it. And she, like I said, we were cleaning out the refrigerator. So she had cleaned out our garbage can, like it sprayed it and stuff. And she goes outside to dump the nasty water out over the porch. At this point, the guy that was yelling at him, he just drove off. Like he left. And I forgot to mention, while they were having the screaming match, the old man was telling him that he's called the police. He's like, I know the deputy, and he's coming. He's going to arrest you. You're going to jail. I don't care, man. I don't care. And he's mad. He's angry. He's like kicking his own car. He's really, really just kind of.
So you know what this means? They live close to you.
Who knows? I'm sure the older guy. I'm sure that wishful thinking. I'm sure the older guy does. But my original.
And they live with him. I think that's the reality.
My original thought, by the way he was acting, and I'm sure this is just me being prejudiced or whatever, but I was like, that guy's on drugs because it's this area, whatever. And more on that in a moment. But I was just like, I don't even want to be out here messing with this guy because he's beating the crap out of his cars. He's just very irrational, and I'm just like, he's high out of his.
You don't go near it.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So my wife goes outside, and the guy says to her, the older gentleman had drove off. He had driven off, and the guy looks at my wife and he goes, "Excuse me, sweetheart. Look, I guess I'm going to jail. That guy called the cops on me. Can you do me a favor? Can you just call the cops and tell them I'm here and I'm ready to go? Just call and tell them. Can you tell them to hurry, please, ma'am? I just want to go to jail."
She had this interaction with him.
Yeah, well, he said this to her, and she just puts her head down, walks back in the house, didn't respond.
Tell them to put a rush on it.
Yeah. Hurry up. I'm tired of waiting. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Check, please.
So she comes in and she tells me, what the guy had said, and I was like, all right, shut the door, lock it, and call the cops. She says, I don't want to call the cops. I don't want to be involved in this. Fine, just shut the door and lock it in. It's fine. It'll take care of itself. Just as long as he's not bothering us. Then he started to bother us. So we hear something on my front porch that sounds like the dude is trying to come in, like he's messing with my glass, like screen door. So at this point, my wife, of course, is very scared. My 2-year-old's there with her, and I'm like, grab the kid, go in the back to Lane's room.
Don't get in the car. It won't start.
There's no getting out of this. We cannot escape. Grab the kid, go back to Lane's room. You guys stay there. And I'm standing at my front door with a golf club in one hand and my phone in the other, calling the cops. And I'm being like, look, here's the situation. This is what I saw. This is what I know. Now the guy is trying to come into my house. The doors, he's kicking at the screen door like he's trying to come into my house. You guys need to get here. My kids are scared. I have a window where I can kind of see the porch. And while I'm talking to the cops, I kind of hear a thud or a kind of galunk. And I look, and the guy's, in fact, not trying to get into my house. He did come up on my porch. At some point, he had made another trip back to his car, apparently, to grab himself a hat that he was wearing that he didn't have on before, a big straw floppy hat, and a pair of pants that were in his hand. I don't know why he felt the need to go back and grab those. But what had happened was he had fallen on my porch and couldn't get up. And what we heard that we thought was him trying to come into the house was him just kind of splashing around out there and kicking at my door. So at this point, at least I kind of know, well,
he's not a threat.
Two things are going to happen. He's either just out there flopping around, the cops will be here in a second, and we don't have to worry about this, or B, if he does make it in, at least I know now that I can
take him.
I will annihilate this dude with this 9-iron, whatever. So then at some point I look, and he had retreated from the front porch to go back to his car, and in my front yard, there's a large wood pile. He had fallen in the wood pile, and looked like he hurt himself pretty bad. And we just kind of hear, at this point, my wife's back in there. She's looking out the window, and he's screaming, help, some hurt, somebody help. And my wife looks at me, she says, Josh, he looks really, really hurt. Like, what if something happened? What if he's hurt? What if he's dying? Let him die. What am I going to do?
CPR.
He's screaming. He's fine.
It's
not like laying out there lifeless, like he's and he's flailing around like it's a bad scene. He was not cooperative with the police.
Do you have this on your door?
No, I only have what's right there at my door. He's they approach him or whatever. I kind of missed like the initial kind of them approaching, but by the time I saw they had him in cuffs or whatnot to take him to the car, he was not having it, to the point to where they put him in the back seat and we hear bang, bang, bang.
He's kicking the windows.
He's knocking his head against the glass.
Oh, wow.
And then knocking his head against the steel, like separation from the front and the back.
So the world's dying to know, was he on drugs?
I'm getting right there. They end up basically having to hog tie this dude to keep him from hurting himself in the back seat. And the cop comes down to ask me, are you guys okay? What's going on? I'm like, obviously this dude's like on drugs or something, like, really freaked my wife out. I just don't want her, feeling unsafe or what. He goes, whoa. This guy is not on drugs. He has a bottle of, like, enormous bottle of whiskey in the car, and there is about a drink left in it. So for some reason, just drunks are less scary than...
I disagree completely. Drunks are so unpredictable.
I'm talking about when it comes to repeat business. I'd rather have a drunk come around the house than a meth head.
It just really depends on the drunk. I've been around drunks that...
I don't think that guy's going to be sitting around his house, gets drunk again next week, and goes, you know what? I'm going back. I don't think that's going to happen.
Have you seen
But
cops?
I can't follow it.
He's not going to come back to your door.
No,
he's going to go to somebody else's.
No, he's not.
door.
And I'm sure that hangover in jail the next day was brutal. He's probably trying to sue me over that wood pile.
I didn't have a scrape on me before I was in that yard.
What we were looking at, though, I have amazing footage of my front. We have security cameras on the front porch, and it's a 7-second little clip of
Just
grabbing
dropping
his
like
grabs
bricks.
his chest like he was shot in a Western, and just immediately hits the ground, and it's pretty awesome. Most people that see the video have requested to watch it about 9 more times after. Some people, man, that I'm sad and upset and I'm just hurt and drunk. Like that whole, like, you see him grab the chest. It's just like, y'all need to feel sorry for me, man. I know I've done something bad, but look at me.
He does
Look
have
at
a straw.
me.
He does have a straw hat on.
Right. It was just like I was talking like how the guy was like, I saw you hit her. Well, I've been getting hit since I was 5. So there.
Right.
It's just
The look on his face. He's going down.
It's half smile.
ow! I can't stop crying.
And it's not like it's Friday at midnight.
She took all my Cheetos.
Ma'am, please call the cops. Please get him here. I'm ready to go until they get here, and then I'm going to resist like crazy.
That's kind of a drunk for you.
That's a case of the Mondays. If it's Monday at 6 p.m. and you're drunk in some stranger's yard, something went wrong along the way.
Everything went wrong this week. Everything. But you know what? Everything's going to be all right. I got you guys. You guys are going to be there for me, right?
I mean,
Speaking talking about that.
I mean, mostly, as long as it's not huge inconvenience to me around week.
Not if you're having a baby shower. I'm out.
Or a diaper party.
Exactly, either one.
As any guy knows with a pregnant wife, it's...
she's the one wearing the Cheetos in the house.
Right.
She's pretty not feeling good.
If she heard this episode right now, she would totally be like, I want some Cheetos.
She actually is.
And then she would slap you across the face.
She does not like Cheetos, oddly enough.
Get a divorce. Felt isolated. It's only been made fun of forever.
About my red arm.
Yeah. Got caught red-handed.
I liked Zwan album.
Ugh.
There's a handful of songs on there. To me, a good album has 5 songs. I mean,
I don't want a happy
5
Billy
to 6.
Corgan.
You and I talked about this. It's okay to like life, even if you're Billy Corgan.
If I want that kind of music, Billy Corgan's not who I'm going to for that. Like I
like lyric.
I want sad, mad at the world Billy Corgan. He does that well. I mean, I also don't want Cinderella singing children's songs. I mean, it's same principle.
To each his own, I guess.
There is a thing where like they take songs like
That was me, Rockabye Baby.
Yeah, that's it.
And they make them children?
Yeah,
songs?
children's songs. Yeah.
If you think of most artists, there are CDs you can order. I'm sure you can download them too, where it's the one I have is Appetite for Destruction. And the
whole record?
cover is the cross, but instead of the skulls, they're teddy bears that
Are you
have
joking?
the hair and stuff. No.
Did somebody do this seriously or it's a parody?
No, this is for real. And it's basically like, the first track is Welcome to the Jungle, but it's all like xylophone. It's children's,
Don't
like
tell me
bedtime nursery music.
Don't tell me this.
It's pretty awesome.
Welcome to the nap time?
Give me just 1 second.
Please. Is it the same lyrics?
There's no lyrics.
It's just music.
You're welcome, Rockabye Baby. This is a free plug for you.
Please don't sue us.
You can make this with your kids' toys.
This is what American Idiot sounds like to my son.
I heard a frog. Ribbit.
It's better than the Sheryl Crow version.
Hey, thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments, drop us a line at askandy@colormedad. That's DADD.com. We want to thank the good old boys at the OzarkMountainDaredevils.com for the killer bumper tune. Check them out. And check us out on the web at colormedad. That's DADD.com.